Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the New Opportunities Standing Committee of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, I would like to welcome each and every one of you for this event that we have organized on the topic Law as a Powerful Competitive Edge to Succeed in the Commercial World. And to welcome everyone and to inaugurate the proceedings, I would like to invite the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya, to welcome everyone, and I invite you to the stage, sir.
A very good afternoon to all of you. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome Dr. Kishu Gomes to this very special and new concept of a BSL Spotlight session. In an increasingly complex business landscape, understanding how law intersects with commerce isn't just an advantage, but it is an absolute necessity. We are very happy, and in fact, I can say thrilled, to have a captain of the corporate world, Dr. Kishu Gomes, with us today, in spite of his very busy schedule. Apart from being a corporate leader, we see him as a motivator, someone who inspires, and someone who presents very well across the length and breadth of our country. Dr. Gomes has held many very important and influential positions, and that will be presented to you in a short while, but presently is the Chief Executive Officer of DreamDron Group and of course the Chairman of Exterminator PLC. He's here today to share with us his unique insights on a topic that is profoundly relevant to all of us in the legal fraternity. Law as a powerful competitive edge to succeed in a commercial world. When we constituted this committee, the New Opportunities Committee, we were looking at the need and requirement to think out of the box and reach out to new opportunities and make our membership aware of the options outside of our traditional landscape. I must take this opportunity to thank the chairman of the New Opportunities Committee, Mr. Chandi Matapattu, as well as the conveners, Mr. Krishan Fernandapulle, Mr. Sinet Kassapa Bandara, Ms. Praveena Mohandiram, Mr. Geet Karunaratna, Ms. Laksha Vijayawardena, and Ms. Yohani Yoharaja for this wonderful initiative. Thank you. This is the second of a series of different type of lectures and presentations that we are now presenting to the membership. Apart from all of you in the hall, we have another large number who are connecting with us virtually. That is something we said we must move to, because as much as, even if we have this hall full, that would only be 100 or 200. But we must be mindful that we have a membership of 26,000. And we now take every effort to take whatever we do, wherever we do so, out to our membership through the virtual means, and this time it is through YouTube. So once again, thank you very much, Kishu, for accepting our invitation, and we look forward to inspiring and motivational presentation by you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Before formally inviting the speaker to the stage, I would like to take this opportunity To place before you a small introduction about our key speaker today, Mr. Kishu Gomes.
If you can dim the
Dr.
lights a little bit. Yeah.
Dr. Gomez's name is a name synonymous with leadership, innovation, and unwavering dedication. His career journey is nothing short of remarkable, showcasing a diverse range of achievements across various sectors. In introducing Dr. Gomes, whose impressive professional journey spans over 3 decades, let me tell you that it's marked by extraordinary achievements and leadership which spans across multiple sectors. Currently, Dr. Gomes serves as the chairman of Exterminators PLC, a company listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange. He is also the group managing director and CEO and corporate board director of Dreamron Group of Companies. He is an honorary member of the American Chamber of Commerce and a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, UK. Looking back at his illustrious career, for over 18 years, he was a managing director, CEO of Chevron Lubricants Lanka PLC and Chevron Ceylon Limited, holding the distinction of being the youngest Sri Lankan and longest serving multinational CEO in that role. His international experience includes serving as a director of Caltex India and chairman of Bangladesh Caltex Lubricants Limited. Furthermore, his leadership expands into being a leadership team member for Asia Pacific Chevron Lubricants, which covers 22 countries. He is the youngest and only Asian extended leadership team member for Chevron Global Lubricants, which spans over 108 countries. Before that, he spent 11 years at Coca-Cola, holding various sales and marketing positions, including 2 country assignments in Singapore and Vietnam. Beyond his corporate roles, Dr. Gomes has been an influential figure in external organizations. He was an expert committee member of the Presidential Expert Committee to formulate Sri Lanka's Sustainable Development Vision and Strategy for 2030. He also headed the Implementation Committee as its chairman. He served as the president of the American Chamber of Commerce, being the youngest to head the chamber and achieving its best financial year. He was also president of the Private Sector Business Coalition on HIV and AIDS, and is also director of the AIDS Foundation of Sri Lanka. Currently, he serves as a board director for Cinesta and Oscar Foundations, which is dedicated to cinema and the music industry. He is also the chief advisor to the Sri Lanka Professional Chefs Association and is a director of the Lester James Peris and Sumitra Peris Foundation. Dr. Gomes's contributions have been widely recognized with numerous awards and honors. He received the inaugural Best Young Director Award by the Sri Lanka Institute of Directors in 2002 and the TOYP Award for Business Accomplishments and Entrepreneurial Leadership in 2003. He was named Best Business Leader of the year 2004 by SIMA Sri Lanka. He also received 2 entrepreneurial awards in 2007, and in 2017, he was honored with the Most Outstanding Sri Lankan Award by the International Association of Lions Club for Advancement of Entrepreneurship and Business Management. He also received the Business Excellence Award for Business Leadership in 2020 and Lifetime Achievement Awards for Business Leadership in 2025 by the Business World International Awards USA and the Asian Achievers Awards International, respectively. Dr. Kishu Gomes has also held significant positions, including the chairman of Sri Lanka Tourism, where he spearheaded the recovery efforts after the Easter attacks in 2019. He also served on the Sri Lanka Tourism Advisory Committee for the year 2023-24. Now, beyond the corporate world, Dr. Gomes is also a well-known media personality. He is a writer with his column Piss Talk with Kishu Gomes in the Sunday Observer for over 14 years. He is also a TV presenter who conducted VIP with Kishu on ITN. He has also been a commercial model and fashionista in the corporate world. He has significantly contributed to sports as an administrator and promoter, having promoted Sri Lanka rugby, Indo cricket, boxing, athletics, and motor racing for many years. One fun fact you might not know is that Dr. Kishu Gomes is a former Sri Lanka national athlete, having been the 110 meters hurdles national champion. Dr. Kishu Gomes is truly an individual with many talents, and his inclusion among the most respected business leaders in 2021 by the LMD magazine further solidifies this standing. Today, Dr. Gomes, we are eager to hear your perspectives on the topic, law as a powerful competitive edge to succeed in the commercial world. Without much further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Kishu Gomes to spearhead our event. The stage is yours, Dr. Gomes.
70. Listen to my own profile, I realized that it's too long. I need to shorten it. Let me give it a try. It's not easy to shorten it, but surely I don't want to see time being wasted at the future events. Thank you for that introduction, and thank you, my good friend Rajiv, for roping me in for this very important engagement. And he and I have been Facebook friends, and we've met very briefly, right? But he sent me a text asking me for my number, which I quickly responded to. And then he called me and said there's something like this, which sounded as if, it's a very novel idea. It's a good idea. The smartness is that, you get resources like us at no cost to, do what is right for the legal, fraternity. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Because there are things you can't learn, from books or from any other type of, engagement. And this is an excellent way. So I congratulate you for coming up with this great idea. So having listened to him, over that telephone conversation I had to, come up with a topic. And gave it some thought and suggested this, law as a powerful competitive edge to succeed in the commercial world, right? There is tremendous competition. The world has 8.2 billion people. On a daily basis, the level of competition is intensifying. There is cutthroat competition, which we know. And next slide. So with the level of competition we are faced with today, unless you keep on growing yourself, you cannot sustain your performance as a winner, right? As the competition gets intensified, unless you grow yourself, unless you expand your horizons, you won't be able to sustain your performance. Somebody will come and, beat you. The first message I would like to share with you is don't expect a better tomorrow. There will not be a better tomorrow on this earth, in this world. Absolutely no way. I did say that the world's population is 8.2 billion. 2.8 billion people live with just less than $2 income per day. That's 600 rupees. Out of the 8.2 billion, 2.8 billion. You can just understand as to how poor the world is, right? And 1.5 billion people already do not have pure drinking water. To add to that, 9 million people die from starvation, not having enough food to eat, right? What is the Sri Lankan situation? 40% of the population, this is based on some research done and my own research done, right? I go to grassroots level. I spend a lot of time in trying to understand what exactly is happening, on the ground level. 40% of our population can't have 3 meals a day. Absolutely no way, right? 2 meals, small percentage, and 1 meal a day. Yeah, you can have your own estimate. Do people die from starvation in Sri Lanka? Yes, right? It was mentioned in my profile that I was heading Sri Lanka tourism. Post-Easter attack, when I was traveling around the world, when I was in China, I got this text, on my mobile, where it said that a lady took her life with 2 kids or 3 kids, right, near the station, railway station in Kolpeti. There was a letter written by her saying that the reason why I'm taking the lives of my kids is because I don't want to leave them not knowing, what their future will be. I have no money to, feed my kids, so therefore, we are saying goodbye to the world. And then a month later, there was another text message. Again, I was out of the country that came, and a family of 4 women from Malimbada. They were without food for several days, and the villagers did not see them moving around. They suspected, broke open the door, went inside, and they were just lying on the ground and bed and all of that. They were rushed to the hospital. 2 were already dead, and the other 2 died in the hospital. So people die from starvation, right? Next slide, please. Right. We don't talk politics, and I keep telling people, never do politics, right? Just focus on the economy, and you do your own contribution to see how you can prop the country's economy, and that is all, as professionals, what we should be doing. But when everyone is talking about various things, just take a look at this slide. I don't want to go line by line, because the time allowed for me is 45 minutes to 1 hour, right? So these are the economic value losses the Sri Lanka as a country has experienced, right? Next slide, please. So some of the other reasons as to why Sri Lanka is faced with this economic crisis beyond politics, right? These are the numbers. And I keep saying the politicians cannot build a country's economy. They can only put the policies in place, the regulatory and legal environment in place, and facilitate the growth of the economy of the country, but they themselves can't generate income for the country, right? So it's we who have to get together and generate income for the country. We have a population of 21.7 million, of which we have 8.5 million people in the workforce. Size of the economy is $89, $90 billion, right? And per capita income is only $4,200. So obviously, we need to certainly go up to about $6,500 to $7,000 per capita for the Sri Lankans to be able to live the life they deserve. So you and I have a role to play in that. Next slide. Right. So I'm going to get on with the story that I have put together for you. Most of us are skilled and very talented to be able to make judgment on other people. The moment we see somebody, we think we can, make a judgment that that person is this. This person is a person like this. His background, maybe this. We are hastened to make judgment on other people, right? We think we can do that, but humanly impossible, right? We always go wrong in trying to judge other people. But that's not the point I'm trying to drive here. One of the most difficult things the human beings can do or are able to do, or thing human beings always fail to do is understanding him or herself. Understanding you is the most difficult thing to do in this world, right? We think we know us, right? But do we do a self-assessment to be able to understand how competitive we are? We keep blaming the others. Okay, I mean, I'm a super performer. If you're working in an organization, if the organization is not giving you the promotions, the due recognition, the right rating, right increments, all of that, you keep complaining. Though I work, these people, don't see the contribution I make, and they are wrong, right? So that's why I'm saying it's always important for you to be able to make a self-assessment and keep assessing yourself at least once a year to see where you stand against your competition, right? In every profession, there is competition, and your boss told me that there's 26,000 registered lawyers in the country. And when it comes to the corporate world, while certain companies have company lawyers, the function is mostly outsourced now. You may have just one person, but requirement is much greater. You get one person to coordinate, and who's a full-time employee, and you work with outsourced companies. So whatever the case may be, there's tremendous competition, and there are newcomers entering into the industry, and younger generation is smarter than my generation and your generation, right? I have two sons. I can have very successful deliberations with anyone else, but not with my two sons. They are far superior, right? That's what they think, right? I have no ability whatsoever to be able to convince my two sons. One lives in Australia, just 24 years, doing extremely well, and he's much smarter than me, right? My elder one is here, working for one of the biggest brands in Sri Lanka as a brand manager. He knows more than anyone else in the world, right? So leave that aside. That's my plight, right? Feel sorry for me. But know that younger generation is smarter. So you can be the best lawyer today. You can be the best professional, right? Most valuable person. And tomorrow you can be challenged, right? So you've got to keep on developing your competitive advantages. You've got to keep checking as to where you're positioned against your competition. So you can't relax, and that's the kind of the environment within which we got to perform. Next one, please. Right, so if you want to be a performer, there's one thing that you have to believe in, right? And be driven by. What is it? Be hungry for recognition. Work for recognition, and recognition only, rest will follow you, right? And you got to celebrate every little success that you achieve on a daily basis. If you don't have that habit to be able to enjoy the success of good things you do, what you delivered, you will not have the inner desire to be able to keep achieving success and greater success, right? So right throughout my life, I have done just one thing, that is working for recognition and nothing else, right? I mean it when I say nothing else. I mean, small days, I was not as ugly as now. I was a, kind of very attractive, boy, loved by everybody. Everybody, used to embrace me, hug me and all of that. I thought, wow, if this feeling can be maintained until I die, that is the best thing a human being can achieve. So obviously, when you are a kid, nice kid, you get that natural attention because we as elders, love to associate with, such kids. But beyond that, you have to do other things to be able to get that recognition, get that love, respect, admiration, right? So then, of course, I started schooling. I wasn't the most, studious kid. And then I got into sports. I did 13 different sports. And then I did, all the other things. And I was a star, even in school. Started working, I wanted to outperform every, other person, in the same league, for which I had to work extremely hard. So I have many records at Coca-Cola as well, right? And those have not been beaten. And then moved on to one of the largest multinationals in the world. Known name in Sri Lanka and Asia is Caltex, but globally known as Chevron. And that's a company whose top line is 1.5 times bigger than the size of the Sri Lankan economy, right? 125 billion top line, right? And their bottom line is over $25 billion, right? Our total debt, foreign debt, is only 46 billion, right? So that's the scale of the organization that I worked for, and in that organization only I created a record by becoming not the youngest Sri Lankan, but youngest Asian to head a truly multinational organization. Not just one organization, 2 organizations at the same time. How did this happen? Nothing, but due to this attitude. I always work for recognition, right? So make it a point to celebrate your successes. It can be a very small success that you have, but feel good about it. Celebration is not about, going and opening a glass bottle and, having few glasses around and friends around. I mean, that is obviously one way of doing it, but it can be, just sitting and kind of, thinking about the achievement you have had and feeling good about it and telling yourself, okay, I'm going to repeat this, I'm going to achieve a greater level tomorrow. Next slide, please. Right. Going beyond your core. World is a value chain, right? No individual can perform in the given world, right? It's a value chain. You have inputs, you have outputs, and there are different activities performed, through the value chain, and you're in the middle. So success comes with how well you can synchronize and synergize your actions, right? Independently, there is no value one can create, right? So for you to be able to synchronize and synergize in the most effective way, you got to know what the person before you does and why he or she does it, right? And it comes to you, you add value and you pass that on to the other individual. So you got to know what the next individual is going to do with the value addition that you do, right? So that is why I propose this, go beyond your core. If you intend getting into the corporate world, or if you are someone who's already in the corporate world, business world, working for an organization, commercial entity, go beyond your core, know your finance, know your HR, know your procurement, know your supply chain, know your marketing, know your brand, and everything, right? Then you are able to, as a legal service provider, make a contribution in such a way where at the end of the value chain, you'll have the maximum value being created, right? So you have to go beyond that. If people ask me who I am, what my core strength is, I mean, obviously I would say it's brand marketing. I love to say it, but you engage in a dialogue with me on HR or supply chain or any other thing, finance, and you will not think that I am not a professional who has done studies in those areas. I mean, not actually have done studies. I mean, I've, of course, done, many things. But that is the kind of knowledge I have, which I have picked over the years, through my physical engagement, right? So winning in the corporate world demands this knowledge, right? Go beyond your core. It's always good to have expertise in more than one area. Next slide, please. Right, head before your body. Analytics is a buzzword, right? We've been talking about the need to be analytical. I mean, in the legal profession, obviously, analysis is a big piece, right? I mean, you have that natural skill developed, through your studies, but I'm just, trying to add the business perspective to it. Just knowing is not enough. Knowing is not enough. You got to, know, comprehensively as to what it is all about, right? For which you got to do. There was a time when world said critical analysis is good enough for you to be able to, come up with the best strategy possible. But now, critical analysis is not enough, and you got to be clinical. The reason why I'm showing this visual is for a reason. This is a heart surgeon, who is performing a surgery on a patient, right? Now, before this heart surgeon opened the heart, he may have done various tests, right? We know the type of test and, all the reports the doctors are asking for, pile of reports. So the surgeon, goes through all of that, and he figures out as to, what needs to be done to obviously cure the patient. And then with a plan, he goes into the theater, opens the heart, and does what he has predetermined to do. But versus that, just imagine if the surgeon, without any preparation, without that clinical assessment, he took the patient into the thing, opened the heart to figure out what needs to be done, right? So see the difference, right? So as Sri Lankans, we are very action-oriented. The moment we see a task, something to be done, there's something entrusted on you, your mind, focuses on execution, right? That is inherent in Sri Lankans, and it is inherent in some of the other people as well. We always talk about Sri Lankans being that. This is a global issue as well. So unless and until you have a plan in place, right, which you have developed through clinical skills, don't execute. Because if you execute something, a plan, a strategy that is misaligned or incorrect, you will still have an outcome, but that outcome will not be to your satisfaction. So if you have a desired goal to be achieved, before you think of execution, you need to spend enough time and do all the analysis required for you to head before your body. Next slide. Right, where most professionals go wrong. With my long years of experience, I propose that solution is easy. Solutions are easy. Solution is not the issue. The issue, the difficulty is for you to be able to really understand what the issue is, what the problem is, which again, lawyers do very well, right? You have that ability, you have that skill acquired, through your studies and by applying yourself in performing your duties as a lawyer. But in the corporate world, it is different, right? Logical thinking is a skill that is lacking in our corporate world big time. Big time, right? People don't spend enough time to be able to really understand what the issue is in the right context, right? So therefore, many people go wrong. Just imagine if as a country we knew what was right to be done to drive the country's economy forward and did what was demanded to be able to achieve that result, what would have been the economic situation of our country today, right? Not politics, again, from an economic perspective, right? So we have always gone wrong, not due to the fact that we have not had the right solution, Yes, we have not had the right solution because we have not understood the issue. So therefore, I'm proposing a formula, right? So we have formulas for every little thing now, right? We have formulas for rice, formulas for fuel, formulas for LPG, right? It's a formula world that we live in Sri Lanka at least, right? So I'm saying that understanding an issue, right, comprehensively, I'm saying 100% here, and coming up with a solution that addresses 50% of the issue is far better than understanding an issue only up to 50%. So understanding the issue, halfway, and coming up with a solution that addresses, coming up with a solution that is 100%, that only addresses 50% of the issue, right? So 150 is better than 50 and 100. Goes to show how important it is to understand the issue, right? It's a discipline that we need to inculcate in us. This discipline is lacking in the corporate world hugely. So that's why I think every single organization, should have a lawyer, a good lawyer, right? I mean, lawyers also, I guess, fall into, different categories. But this critical thinking, this type of deep analysis, questioning ability is something that every single individual, has to develop in him or in her, right? Yeah, next slide, please. Right. Develop the habit of repeating best performance. Human performance never go in a straight line. Look at the green line. Human performance doesn't go that way, right? You can be the best performer, the star performer, most respected performer, leading performer, true enough. But you have a performance line like the red one you have, right? Just reflect on the journey you're being on, the work you do on a daily basis. You tell me if you achieve the same level of results on a daily basis or you have ups and downs, right? You do the same activity over 5 days. Monday you will have a certain level of achievement. Tuesday it may go up or go down. And that's how it works. The reason being that, next slide please. Reason being, in my own view, again based on my experience, again, when my profile was read out, somewhere it was mentioned that, I've had global roles to play. Yes. I mean, at a very, very young age, I had the opportunity of working, with individuals from 188 countries in the world. And I was the youngest Asian leader, senior leadership member covering 22 countries, within this region as well, right? So this is all based on that experience, exposure I've been able to acquire. So we've been told that learning from failure is the greatest thing to do in the world. Has anyone told you to learn from success? Right? And to me, it's a crime. Failure is a situation where you have not really recognized the issue. Because of the fact that you have not been able to recognize the issue, you have not been able to come up with the best plan possible, most aligned plan, the best solution, and you've gone and executed it, and that equals failure. Failure is that. You tell me whether it can be defined in a different way, right? As opposed to that, success is a situation where, there are accidents that happen. I'm saying, deliberate work done, deliberate engagement, right? Success is a situation where you have really identified the issue, the root cause, and you've come up with the best strategy possible. And when formulating the strategy, you have got the contributions of all the brains that you can have access to. You're focused on the right execution plan, and you have executed it together with your people, you have done the periodical regular reviews as required, you have managed the performance of your team well in a timely manner, and that is what we call success. So to me, there is greater learning out of success than from failure. I have no issues in people learning from failure. Yes, that practice can continue, but I am suggesting start the practice of learning from success. The reason why you saw the previous slide, right? Can we go back to the previous slide, please? Right? The reason why you drop like this is because when you hit that peak point, you have not tried to retain that knowledge and skill, and as to how you performed at the optimal level to be able to retrieve and repeat. Right? So that's why you drop. And when you go down, obviously you feel bad because you are a good performer, you learn from failure, whatever, and then you keep rising. So you don't want ups and downs in your performance. Right? So the way, next slide, right. So the way you can do that is by also learning from success. And wherever I have, shared this principle, suggested to people that they should try this principle, they've come back to me after months and years and given me good feedback saying, yes, that really works, right? So when failure met you, if you had spent half an hour, 1 hour, or 1 day in trying to learn out of it, spend 2 days to learn from success. You can be then a super performer. Next slide, please. Right. People talk about long term. We've been told again, right, that we should work for long term, and long term success is what we desire and what we want to achieve. To me, there's no long term in this world. Who thought that, there'll be a war between two countries, right? And we believe that Donald Trump stopped it, but we really don't know how it actually happened, whether he triggered it or whether he actually stopped it. And we don't know when the next war is going to be, right? So there's no long term in this world. We don't know when we are going to die. I don't know whether I'll be able to go back home today, right? So that is one. So when the world is uncertain, why don't you make an effort to make the best contribution possible to produce the best results possible in the certain environment? Not to say that the environment is not vulnerable. Environment will always be vulnerable for the reasons I explained to you at the beginning, right? But we know what the environment is. Within that, you play your game and you achieve the best results possible in the short term. Today we know, tomorrow we guess it will be this. But we don't know what it is going to be next year, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road. That is one. The other is, unless you keep performing in the short term and keep developing your capacity, your competence, right, your abilities, how the hell can you be successful in the long term? Right? Is there a way? I don't understand. Right? So if you are focused on achieving long-term results, the only way you can achieve long-term results is by performing in the short term to the best of your ability. So when you try to perform in the short term, right, when you keep elevating your expectations, which I will talk about later, you keep developing yourself, that naturally makes you a competitor, gives you competitive advantages to be able to achieve in the long run as well, right? Talking about the corporate world, your shareholders, your owners will never accept a proposition where you say, okay, 5 years down the road, I will achieve this much, but let me make a loss, this year, next year, make investments, looking at, results 5 years down the road. Can you sell that idea? Nobody will accept it, right? Listed companies, we have about 300, and I'm heading one of the listed companies today, and I headed a listed company, Caltech Chevron, for 19 years, right? That's how I became the longest serving multinational CEO in Sri Lanka. The first record can be broken, but the second one is very difficult because, heading an American organization for 19 years demands a lot of things, right? I can talk for 2 days, but I did that, right? And having worked for US multinationals for 34 years, I decided to, step down and, move on with other work. I just wanted to, make a contribution to local organizations. So that's why I actually stepped down. 34 years working for US multinationals is enough, right? More than enough. But anyway, right? So nobody will, your shareholders, if you're a corporate, you're listed, you go in front of the minority shareholders or majority shareholders, all shareholders on an annual basis, you've got to conduct an AGM, they'll fire you. You will not get re-elected, right, for another term, unless you have performed in the short term. Short term is 3 months. You got to declare dividends, and annual, yes, all that, right? So there's no long-term success unless you become successful in the short term. Next one, please. Right, so this kind of a statement can only come from me. Forget the goal if you want results. Have you ever heard such a statement? It only comes from me, right? Because we've been told, from our school days, be target-oriented, right? Good people, performers, people who are optimistic, aspirational, they are all target-oriented. But I go completely against that. And that's why, I've given this, line here. Forget the goal if you want results, right? And people say, okay, I'm very goal-oriented, and I want challenges in life. We are normal human beings. You tell me why somebody should, look for a challenging job, right? If you have a comfortable life, why should somebody look for challenges? Right? And tell me, don't respond to it, I'm just saying, right? Tell me why somebody should like a target. Does target give you a good feeling? As a normal human being, if you're a normal human being, right? The reason why human beings like challenges and targets is because when you achieve targets, there are benefits coming your way. Right? So when you interpret, you say you like the target. No, not that you like the target. Right? Be honest. You don't like the target. It's just that you have no way of performing otherwise. Because somebody will give you a target, and then your performance is measured against the target. So you've got to keep delivering. And when you deliver, you get your promotions, you get the respect you want, the admiration you want, recognition you want. You get promotions, and you have a nice position being created, within the organization, and you feel good about it, and you keep celebrating. Wow, that is why you like targets, right? Think about it, right? I mean, I'm just planting seeds. Just think about it. You don't need to, accept things the way I'm presenting it to you, but I want you to think, right? I'm triggering your thought process. So that is one. So forget the target if you want results, right? Not that way. Let me give you the right statement. Now you have a target which you don't control. You don't tell me if any one of you control targets. You don't. So to be able to achieve the targets, what do you need? You need execution. So what is execution? You can say action or behaviors, right? So let's use the term behavior. Right? So you need to have the right behaviors to be able to achieve the target, which you control, and you have a target in front of you which you don't control. Right? So you tell me by being focused on the target, unless otherwise you're focused on managing your behaviors as to how it can give you the results you want, right? So my whole logic here is, yes, target is important, you get that into your system, but beyond that, do not worry about the target, only worry about your behaviors. What you need to do to be able to achieve the target, which is the only thing you control, right? Very important principle, and as managers and as leaders, I think we should never ask the question as to how someone is performing against the target. Instead, the right question for a leader, for anyone is, what are you doing to achieve the target? Right? What are you doing to achieve the target? Which is what, if you are a leader, you have a team, which is what you can control. Right? And encouraging someone down that path, extending the right support, monitoring it, and going down that path. Right? So this is why I say, so let me correct the statement, don't forget the target. Understand the target, get that into your system, but don't worry about the target beyond that, because you don't control the target. All what you control is the behavior, so therefore worry about behaviors. Manage behaviors, the achievement will ultimately come, and then result will be achievement of the target. Next one, please. Right, communication. I don't need to talk about communication in front of a legal audience, but communication is not just being logical, not being able to use the language properly, accurately, grammatically right, all those things. Right? One issue in Sri Lanka is the moment the word communication is heard, our mind goes to language. Language is just one medium we can use to communicate. But without language, don't people communicate? Right? People do communicate without uttering a single word. Right? Dumb people don't speak, but when you look at the person, you are able to basically make a judgment. The reason why we get kind of tremors when we see white skin is because of that inferiority that we have in our minds. Right? We think they are great communicators. Why? Because they present themselves very powerfully. Right? That visual is very impressive. The body language is fantastic. It's not the language. Right? There are Americans and Britishers who don't speak English as good as some of our people. So it's not language, right? But now in the corporate world, in this commercially driven world and brand driven world, right, communication plays a huge role. America's economy is $30 trillion. Size of the global economy is $97 trillion. So literally, America controls 35% of the global economy, right? Do they manufacture anything? They don't manufacture anything. So how come they are the economic power of the world? How can America control 35% of the global economy? Because they are the best communicators in the world. What do? They come up with brands. They don't do anything else other than just graduating brands and getting the poor countries to manufacture the product, right? And it goes from a poor country to a rich country. Where does the revenue go? It goes to US, right? A chicken from Kuliyapitiya sold through Pilavus can fetch 1,500 rupees or thereabout. When the same chicken is sold through an outlet which is branded 3 English letters, how much do you fetch? 7,000, 8,000, 9,000? When my kids were small, one of the boys had to be taken to this outlet at least once a week. Right? So I've spent many many millions feeding him. Kukula comes from Kuliapitiya, right? See what communication does and how important the communication is. When it comes to the professionals, right? Yes, language, logical thinking, logical presentation, right? All that is important, but at the same time, right? You got to have the storytelling ability. Storytelling ability. You got to add your impressions to the communication you do. You should be able to keep an audience, with you, with your story from the start to the end. And that demands a style, that demands a rhythm, right? And generally lawyers are very proud, right? Some lawyers don't even look at you, right? There may be a reason which I don't understand, but there are lawyers who are loved, who are admired, who are naturally respected beyond the profession, right? Beyond the profession. So do you want to be one of them or one of them? Right? We are all human beings. Unless somebody likes you, respects you naturally, what is the satisfaction you can get? Can you be happy that you are a successful individual? Right? So, communication is a very, very comprehensive subject. I can talk for, half a day. But, that style, that tone and rhythm, body language, facial expressions, all that are extremely important. Finally, the purpose of communication in the commercially driven world is to be able to get the decision in favor of you. At the end of every single communication engagement, your objective is to get the decision of the listener in favor of you. And that's what America has done. Right? That is why most of us, right, are using that bitten fruit, right? And do you believe that to make that phone, 22 countries are, supplying 22 different gadgets? And I don't think that cost of that phone is not even 20% of the commercial price of the phone, right? We all, fall for that. Why? Because we like to, more than the functionalities, like to show, right? For that reason only, you tell me any other reason as to why somebody, should use that phone brand, right? The things we do with that phone are things that we can do with a phone that is only 35,000, 40,000 rupees, right? Communication, okay? Next slide, please. Right. I come to another segment. If you are a winner or not is not your judgment. You lawyers, you make judgment and then you influence judgments, all that is good. But this is the human, aspect of it, right? Whether you are successful or not is not your decision. You can think that you're successful, but if others don't accept you as a successful professional, can you call yourself a successful individual? Right? So, in today's modern world, it is all about performance in such a way where your target audience will, give you that endorsement to say you are a winner. Right? So, it is all about winning in the eyes of others. Right? We should always align our performance in such a way where our stakeholders will accept you, respect you as a winner. It's not about value you create for yourself, it is value you create for others as a professional. Right? Next one. Right. So there is this saying, there is a nice song these days, which is very popular, Pitakavare, right? So there is this very famous saying, don't judge a book by its cover. We like if this is the situation, but it is not so. We judge by the cover, right? Next slide, please. Right. The moment we see a visual, we jump into a conclusion, right? We jump into a conclusion. And all what a human being does thereafter is to look for evidence to confirm that his judgment is correct. If you stop this, go to PETA, stand in a line, observe all the people who are, walking by in front of you. We make judgments. Okay, this person must be a person who's working for the government. This person must be a person who's working for the private sector. And in the private sector, it must be a multinational, not a local company. Or a local company, that is listed huge, making 10 billion bottom line. He should be somebody, who has a degree. He must be somebody who's living in a house like this. He must be from this area, right? He must be using or driving, this kind of a vehicle. That's the world we live in. Whether he's right or wrong is a different matter altogether. But as professionals, we should have a winning visual that will complement your professional contribution, right? Your professional contribution. That's earning, through that you get the right attention, you get the right respect, and then your job becomes easier, right? So these are some visuals, of course, ethnic visuals, all of them, but I just wanted to give you the idea that you are judged by the cover, whether you like it or not. That's the reality of the world, and you can't, go away from that reality. Next slide, please. Next slide. Right. As a professional, right, you need to be very vibrant. You need to show that you're updated. You need to show that you're impressive. You need to show that you're confident. You need to show that you're clean, not green Sri Lanka, but yeah. Show your inner strength with your outer appearance. So, you can be the best dressed individual, but there are other things that you need to be concerned about. Grooming is important, right? Grooming is important. Not only humans, look at the dogs there, groomed and no groomed dogs. And when you look at the dog, you can, make a judgment about the owner of the dog, right? The world is so weird, right? But this is what it is. What do we do, right? There's tremendous competition for us, and we need to position ourselves. You need to have the edge, competitive edge, right? So whole thing is about, competitive edge. Right, next one, please. Right, so we live in a first impression world. First impression world, right? The visual has to be impressive, and people respond to that, and people will pay you a premium price when those things are complementary, right? I can talk about this, but then due to lack of time, I'll move on. Next one, please. Next one. Right. In the corporate world, there is this, second line, dress for the job you want and not for the one you have, right? This is not about spending a lot more money to present yourself, right? This is about how you present yourself. It's not about the brands you wear or how expensive or cheap what you wear is, right? Now, Otara today, my good friend, so therefore I don't mind quoting, she was wearing all the most expensive jewelries in the world then. She does not wear any of those today. Just white, linen, or cotton. She carries herself, and when you look at her, you can, tell that she is someone. So it is not about what you wear, right? It is just not about what you wear, right? It's something beyond that. Of course, these two visuals are impressive. Any girl would like to, have a chat with him. any guy would like to, have a chat with her as well. But that principle that I'm trying to drive, please understand it, right? It is very important, right? Okay, next one, please. Right. Now, in this world, no individual can be a performer, or having brilliant individuals is not what is required, right? Now, this is an example from my first love, which is athletics, right? 4 brilliant individuals, 2008 Olympics in Beijing. Usain Bolt had already, set a world record, and Asafa Powell, the previous world record holder, and then other two obviously could run 100 meters in less than 10 seconds. So brilliant individuals coming together, creating team brilliance, 37.10. And that's a tough record, but they beat the record in 2012 in London during the World Athletics Meet, which was 36.84, right? So that's a record that will be very difficult to beat. So I'm going against my own suggestion that individual, brilliant individuals are not what we require in the corporate world. Next slide, please. Right. So these are brilliant individuals as well. Before they took part in this 4 into 100 relay, she had won the 100 meters. Veronica Campbell had won 200 meters. And the other two girls also could run 100 meters in less than 11 seconds. So brilliant individuals. And again, Jamaican team, they expected another world record. But what happened? They lost big time. Russia from nowhere, which did not have brilliant individuals, became the winners. What happened to them? They lost the baton change at the third lap, right? So while it is important for you to be able to be a brilliant individuals, unless otherwise you are able to synchronize and synergize your actions with your team members, produce brilliant team results, you're not worth anything, right? That's why I said, in a world is a value chain, right? Whatever field, whatever trade, whatever profession, whatever organization that you work in, it's a value chain. So you should be able to synchronize and synergize, right? So the only reason why you need to be a brilliant individual is when you are a brilliant individual and you synchronize and synergize, you are then able to make a better contribution and your team will then be able to achieve greater results, bigger results, better results, right? So be a brilliant individual, but don't try to perform as an individual, right? Next one. Right. So final lap. If you are keen to keep improving your performance, to be a better player, to have the greatest competitive advantages that you can have, so that in your league, in the chosen target audience, right, in the chosen category, you can be one of the best or the best, right? And that is what we all desire, because we have to die as a valuable individual who had done something for the country, for the people, right? So for that, you got to keep developing yourself. There is only one way in which you can keep developing yourself, that is by setting your expectations beyond your capacity, right? Beyond your capacity. So what is your capacity today? Try to achieve something that is beyond your capacity. I'll talk about it more with the next slide. Next slide, please. Right. So for you to be able to do that, what you should do is do only if you can't do it. If you can do it, don't do it. What does that mean? right? If you can do it, don't do it. If your goal is to become better, more capable, more competitive, have more competitive advantages, don't do what you can do. Do only if you can't do it. Right. So what I mean here is, as long as someone does what he or she is able to do, there will not be growth at all. Why? When you do what you can do, what happens? You use the knowledge you have today. You use the skills you have today. You use the capacity you have today. You use the competencies you have today. So by using what you have, how the hell can you be a better performer? Right? As opposed to that, when you set your expectations beyond your capacity, you try to do things that you think you can't do, then you will realize that, oh gosh, I need to acquire more knowledge. I need to have more skills or sharpen the skills I already have. I need to broaden my capacity. I need to be more competent. I need to be more committed. You see then a gap. So your goal is to be a super performer, and as long as you have that desire in you, it will then tell you, oh gosh, I need to keep developing myself. Right? I need to keep developing myself. And that's why I suggest this. Don't do if you can do it. Do only if you can't do it. Just remember that and try to achieve that. So doing things you can't do means achieving a level that you have not achieved before, or doing something totally new. Could be either way depending on what you do. Next slide, please. Right. So that is the monologue I had for you, right? The bottom line is, given that there's tremendous competition, you got to compete to succeed. If you don't compete, there will not be success, right? So keep working on your competitive advantages. I did say at the beginning that knowing you is the hardest thing in the world. And you got to do that first, self-assessment, know what your strengths are, where you need to improve, what you need to acquire to be able to be a star performer, be a leading performer, be a brand, all of that, right? Surely in the commercially driven world, you got to be a brand, right? Being the best does not mean anything. Being the best does not mean anything, right? Being known for being the best is what is required, right? So that is why I said somewhere in the middle that in this world it is whether you are good or bad, successful or otherwise, is not a decision for you. It's for others, right? And when you build that brand, when people know you, when people admire you for the contributions you make, when people know that you have a good heart, when people know that you are trying to make a difference for the people in Sri Lanka, and beyond Sri Lanka if it matters, right? Then, they'll like you and they'll show you that love, right? They'll show you that love and work for recognition and be loved, right? There's no other magic in the world other than love. Other than love. So if you're not loved, whether you can be happy or not is your judgment, is your decision, but nothing like being loved. And that demands all the things I told you. Got to first be a performer, right? Individually brilliant, but finally to be able to create team brilliance, offer value to the others, and be a winner in the eyes of others. So this is what I had in terms of monologue, and time permitting, I don't mind being questioned by the lawyers. My goodness, what a mistake is that? Don't question, but yeah. Next slide, please. Right. So if you have, I don't know, is it okay to take a couple of questions if they have any? Yeah. So any thoughts? I've exactly taken 1 hour. You have any questions? I have been very revolutionary, right? Very revolutionary. I've gone against known theories, accepted theories for good reasons, right? Good reasons. And this is only way Sri Lankans can, win in this highly competitive global work. And, one other thing I would like to add is, make sure that you have a feeling towards other people. Have a feeling towards other people, right? We want this country to progress. We want 21.7 million people to, have a life that they desire, right? Think beyond you. Maybe as a professional, you have decided, okay, what I have achieved is enough. I have enough money. I have all the things that I require. Do you want to die like that? Or do you want to go beyond that and, make a contribution towards the other people, to make them happy, make them feel good, right? And when you have a feeling towards them, that will not stop you from growing, right? So have that as well, right? So it's not about achieving things for you. It's achieving things for all Sri Lankans. Sorry, yeah. So anything you'd like to ask me, clarify, verify? Or make a comment? Yeah, boss wants to say something.
So, Kishu, we have seen you at the top for maybe 25, 30 years.
Right.
Kishu Gomes is a brand name.
Thank you, if you think so.
So it's an extended period of time, and from what you say, I can see this going on for a long time now.
Right.
What drives you? We listened to what you said, all of that.
Right.
But your rise and your consistent success is, I think, beyond many others.
Right.
What drives you to do what you do, and how do you keep going?
No, thank you so much. It's a great question, and through some of the slides, I've explained a few things, but he wants a kind of a summarized version of it. So is recognition, that is one. And then the other thing is, I have not confined myself to the traditional boundaries, right? I've done all the good things and all the bad things. Bad in the eyes of certain categories of people, good in the eyes of some others, right? I've always been traditional, out of the box, done things, that I think, one, legally aligned, socially acceptable, right? Maybe when I do some of the things, it goes against the thinking of some people. But as long as you have the majority on your side, and it creates value for you and for others, I've done it. So that's why in my profile, it was read out that I'm a commercial model as well. I take a brand every 2 years, right? I charge a very high price as well. Not everyone can afford me, so that I position myself. And I have tried to make bridges with large audience, going beyond my core audience. I'm a corporate leader, right? And I've been successful based on what others say, including what you said, right? I've built the most profitable company in Sri Lanka. Under my leadership, it was the best dividend payer in the market. Profits per employee #1 in Sri Lanka. All that, right? And today, one group I'm heading, Dream Run Group, that has 5 different companies. Not many people know. There is a Japanese company which is BOI that sends products to 27 countries in the world. Dreamron does contract manufacturing for Unilever, and I was telling somebody, this Vim liquid is done by Dreamron, right? It's a Unilever brand. So I'm heading that organization. I've basically transitioned that organization where it was to, where it is today. So I make bridges with people and try to appeal to more people, going against traditional thinking of people. So the moment I became the CEO, youngest CEO, Hamidians invited me to be their brand ambassador, right? And I had to open my chest, right? Shoot was at the Taj Samudra, and no shirt inside, but jacket, right? That particular brand makes you complete was the theme. So I accepted it, right? They invited me because they thought, I'm good to be able to promote that brand, most expensive shirt in Sri Lanka. So I did that. So a lot of people criticize me. I mean, he has, created a Asian record or world record or whatever. Why has he got to do that? To me, that was okay, right? And I started acting as well, right? Some of you may have seen me acting. And yesterday I started a new teledrama as well. I didn't become a lawyer, but I became a DIG from Monday onwards. It'll go on there. So I make bridges, right? I mean, I go to Katragama, the stallholders will recognize me. I go to any five-star hotel, people will recognize me. I go to any place, any nook and corner of Sri Lanka. I'm very popular in Tamil and Muslim areas. Why? Because I was the head judge of Youth with Talent on ITN for 3 years, and where there were a lot of Tamils and Muslims taking part, presenting various talents, and I always encourage them, and so I'm known there as well. So what else do you want, right? So that is that, and then working for recognition, right? Now, you spoke to me and we know each other, I respect you, so I accepted it. But there are other things that I do which I really don't have to do, right? Which I really don't have to do, but I do. Why? When I address an audience, at the end, I want people to think, okay, Kishu Gomes is better than who we thought. He's a good guy, right? So I like that. I want that. I don't know whether this audience will conclude that. But I'll say, so you got to be seen, right? You got to be seen doing different things. You got to keep achieving, better and bigger and higher all the time. So that's the only way, because becoming a brand, getting other people to know you is easy. But sustaining a brand is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult, because there are other brands, that emerge, right? And they go down, right? I mean, there are obviously better performers than me. But I may be better known. Why? I have that portfolio of things I do which differentiates me, and with that, I am more frequently seen doing different things. And when I started acting, people said, is he doing that as well? So why did I accept it? Because that was the MD of an American company, if you watched Paradige, right? The biggest personality in that teledrama, using dual language, Sinhala English mix, right, with another well-known, well-respected co-star. So I thought, what is the issue, right? So this particular teledrama I kept refusing, but DIG, never mind, let me wear the uniform at least, for a teledrama. I wore it on Monday night, right? So I'll be appealing to certain segments. As while some people criticize, some people say, don't become an actor. Obviously, I don't want to, be known as an actor. But you say, do one every 2 years or something, which is not bad. So the audience will always be, divided. So if you appeal to that Kuhaka league, that category, you will not be anyone. So ignore them, right? Even Lord Buddha had opposition. We don't know what the number was. But when you hear all these Jataka Katha and all that, we know it has been severe, right? It has been severe. From his era onwards, it has been that. So why the hell do we have to accept it and be driven by that, right? Hope I, explained it. So being seen, doing good things, achieving high levels, doing different things, making bridges, and being known for the contribution you make, and you show your heart as well, right? You show your heart as well. I mean, I sing, what don't I do? I mean, I do many things. So the reason why I do that is because I get the opportunity to address people, talk to people, touch the hearts of people, to be able to get into the hearts and minds of people, right? And I'm very, very down to earth. Very down to earth, right? So those are some of the characteristics, attributes human beings need to have. I mean, there's no fun in, you becoming the best professional, best business leader, achieving the best you can achieve in that, unless, you're not appealing yourself to the people, right? Your own people. Thank you. Great, great one. Yes, please. If it's a tough one, I'll give it to the audience to address. Right, it's working.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Satmi Vitarana, and I have two questions actually.
Okay.
So one of them is, you said that you don't follow conventional ways, right?
Right.
So how do you convince our team to get on board with that?
You mean in my day job, corporate world, as a
Yes.
business leader?
Yeah, generally, when you're heading a team.
So as a leader, when you propose something, you got to convince your team that it gives you a better result, right result, a result that your organization wants, right? So you got to justify in their eyes that what you're proposing, though it sounds different, looks different, it is the one that is going to give you greater results, right? So it's not about saying, let's do it differently, but also explaining as to why you should do it differently and convince them. So obviously, as a leader, you have that accountability, right?
Yeah. The next one
Thank
is,
you.
do you listen to your instincts, or like not at all, or do you listen it to some extent?
Right. So if you don't listen to your instinct, you're not a human being, right? Because we have our natural, inherent, ways of responding to situations. So instinct, which is not based on, something, can be bad. But instinct based on your experience, right? Because all what you have done, is inside, right? So you are then able to process things pretty quickly. You don't take time. That is a competency. Not the knowledge, not the skill, but competency, right? In Sinhala we call it nipunatavya. So when you have that nipunatavya in you, right, you're able to quickly process things and then, respond to it. So from that perspective, yes, I use my instinct.
So has there been any moment, like, so you said that you need to analyze something, right?
Right.
Where the analysis said something and your instinct said something else?
Yes, of course, yes, right? If I say no, I'll be misleading you. There have been situations.
Then,
and it can keep happening as well, right? It can keep, I use my instinct and then, propose what you think is the best action, and it goes wrong, and then you sort of, do a look back, you find, okay, so I've missed here, right? Then you correct yourself and don't repeat the same mistake, thereafter. So there are, certainly those situations. But again, when you keep your knowledge updated, right? When you keep following the new trends, you're on your feet, on your toes. You know what exactly is happening around. Your knowledge is current. Then you're able to actually continue to use your instincts, or, to be able to quickly come up with the best solution possible, right? But having said that, don't, share this with any of the teams I worked with in the previous organizations. There have been situations where, I have not proposed the best solution, right? But I have proposed it where I have made it work somehow. Right? When you are a professional, you have to do that as well. Right? You have given it thought, you have proposed something, but it has not really worked, where you somehow make it work because it's your credibility. Right? You might not accept the fact that, it wasn't the best solution. With some kind of adaptations and different actions and greater application, all of that, you somehow make it work. So you have, still achieved the same result. But, these things can happen in the real world. And it happens to me as well. I'm a human being also. Right?
Thank you.
Great questions. Is that it, or maybe one more, Max? Okay, at the back, there is a lady. Okay.
Hi, Kishu. My name is Keith.
Hi,
Yeah,
Keith.
this is a small question. Yeah, when you're creating a brand image or a personal image,
Right.
People kind of put you into a stereotype. Instead, say you want something, for them to see you as someone or some particular person,
Right.
and they categorize you into one category. For instance, now if you take a profession, the lawyers, it comes with preconceived notions of particular
Right.
distinctions.
Right.
And how do you get away from that stereotype, and how do you enable people to look at you the way you want them to see you?
Right. So thank you. It's a great one, very complex one though, right? So you are a brand anyway. Whether you have deliberately built a brand, try to manage yourself as a brand, or otherwise, you are a brand. What you don't know is, if you haven't, thought it that way, whether you are a positive brand, negative brand, or a neutral brand, Patola brand. That is what you don't know. But you are a brand. With a conscious mind, conscious plan, you can be a positive brand. Right? Positive brand. So they will kind of, go to a conclusion that, okay, this man, based on what I see, is this. Right? And if it is positive, well and good, you keep down that path. If it is negative, then you got to address that. Right? You got to address that. So that's where brand communication comes into play. Right? Now, I try to address some of those things through my media engagements. Right? And, of course, face-to-face engagements as well. I try to explain, things. It's not always easy, but if you just allow the people to make a judgment on you, it'll be stereotyped. So you try to change it, with your communication, different things you do, and you manage it that way, right? So that's what I think, you should do. So, I mean, you are a lawyer, and within the traditional boundaries, you can be a star as well. You can go beyond the traditional boundaries and be a different brand as well. So it's a choice, people have. But you got to, go against these conventional, thoughts, and be someone unique, differentiated, and set a trend. Set a trend. That is what, we need to do. Good trend, which will help the country, younger generation, people, everyone, right? So when I say compete, right, I always say compete, right? During our school days, the teachers and elders and everyone said, take part. Take part is the best thing, a kid can do, right? That's where we have gone wrong now. We are talking about building a country's economy. How do you build a country's economy? You got to compete against the other economies of the world. So who has to compete? The workforce. So I'm one of them, right? So if I'm told, during my school days not to compete, how the hell can we build the country's economy? See what is happening with the new tariff US has proposed, right? Now this morning Trump reduced the tariff for one country, right? So we have lost more competitive advantages now. So we are working on it. Why? So the reason why we are saying give us lower tariff is to be able to compete, right? So in individual professions also it's the same thing, right? But say compete not against others, against you. Compete not for your benefit only, but for the benefit of others. I think that thought is a pure thought. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That lady at the back.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Before I'm moving into my question, I will somewhat introduce who I am. I'm Vagisha Pérez, and I'm from KDU on the way to be a lawyer.
That's why I was wondering as to why you're wearing a uniform.
Yeah.
I thought you are flying or something. Now I know. I've been to KDU as well. Go ahead.
So I just came after the lectures. That's why
Right.
I'm from uniform. So the question that I want to ask, okay. So I want to introduce a little bit about me before I move into my question, okay? So as you said, sir, you said that finding yourself is the most difficult thing in the world. Yeah. Even last year, I found myself. Okay? I found myself, and now I have an answer to just give for a question that who I am. Okay.
Great.
So I already imagine myself after 20 years what I will do, and now I'm just making my own brand name as Sri Lanka, just in the starting point. So when my brand is just moving into the upgrade, the main question, the main difficulty that I and my father also a businessman, but not a high class businessman, just a middle class businessman. So this is not just about the dream. This is not a question about the dream or the passion or anything. Just it's a practical question that I'm facing when I'm doing my business. So this is I searched many things to ask this question in a forum, but I didn't found any forum. So this is the place that I only found. So thank you for the organizations, organizing committee, organizing such an event. I'm so grateful, and thank you, sir, for coming. And you are the best person that I can ask this question because you have a practical knowledge.
Okay.
So my question is, you said that there are 40% of people in Sri Lanka which do not have even 3 meals per a day. But in my business, even in my father's business, that main difficulty that we face is that we have lack of employees in Sri Lanka. There are I live in Dankotua in the Coconut Triangle. We facing lots of difficulties because lack of employees. Even the employees we have. I'm not talking about the employees who having diplomas, degrees. No, I'm not talking about the underlevel employees. I'm talking about the underlevel employees. In this context, even in the future, we cannot find such employees.
Yeah.
Okay?
So the background is very well understood. What is your question?
Yeah. The question is what we must do when we haven't such employees. Even in the schools in our province, in our the schools, they have classes without children. Even the population is less now, but not in the past now.
Right.
Even the employees population.
Right.
They
so
are
your
migrating
question,
and.
Right. No, thank you. So your question is, in the interest of time, your question is how can you find employees, or what is it?
I'm asking for
Or is your question?
No, not finding.
Uh-huh.
Not about finding.
Okay.
Finding means they just, it's not about finding. To find also, they haven't employees. That's the thing. We just advertising in newspapers. We
Okay.
just.
Okay. No,
Yes,
clear.
no
So that is an issue every single organization is faced with today, right? So one thing is we don't find the right talent, right? Knowledgeable people, experienced people, because there is a brain drain. I have a different view, but I'm not going to explain that here. So that then the other thing is at the lower end, finding people for manual work is tough, right? But it doesn't mean that they are unemployed. They are employed, right? They're doing something to be able to earn their living, right? So then the question you need to ask yourself is, am I able to pay the right market price to be able to attract the people I want, right? So obviously your ability is linked to your profitability, right? Your business has a size, you have a rate of return, and accordingly you can only pay so much. Otherwise, business becomes unprofitable. So it is all about you correcting your rate of return to be able to pay something higher than what you're able to pay today to be able to attract employees, right? And retain them through the same process. There's no other way. One group that I'm talking about, sales reps, they come in today and then they leave. Attrition rate is very high. So I had to, keep raising their basic salary, keep revising their incentives and allowances, all of that. So through that, I managed to, bring the attrition level down. And I keep talking to a lot of other companies as well. So that's the only way. There's no other solution, right? And then building a brand as well. You got to be known as a good company, right? Good company. So there is communication that you need to do so that even if the pay is average and there are other organizations who pay little more or same, you will still be able to attract people. There is unemployment, percentage of unemployment, but doesn't mean that they are unemployed. They do something. So that is only thing I can suggest. But glad that you are already thinking about business and all of that. Your thoughts are very good. You have a great future. Keep questioning like this and finding solutions. You are able to do that. So there's one here. Okay, so that can be the last one, Rajiv, right?
Yeah, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah,
So with all your programs and all, I have seen that you are one with hard work, not like saying there's no such thing as smart work.
Okay.
So if we are not supposed to be smart with our hard work, do we have to be smart with our hard work? If not, what's being smart?
Right. So, I mean, I have said it, yes. I've said it on TV. I've said it, through my articles, and I say it in front of, these kind of audiences as well. It is a hard world. Okay? I presented some data, statistics for you to know, because we always complain about Sri Lanka. We continue to complain about Sri Lanka. That's a different thing. But 2.8 billion people out of the 8.2 billion people live with just $2 per day income. 600 rupees. If a Sri Lankan had 600 rupees, and that's not just for eating only, for their housing, medical, education, all of that. Right? So it is a hard world. Right? And it's going to be even harder in time to come. Sri Lanka, against all what is said, we have progressed tremendously, right? As a country, we've progressed tremendously. The country 40 years ago and now are two different things, right? There's better quality of life. If you are determined to work hard, you can earn as well. See, you heard that little girl's story as well, right? So this thing is, yes, you got to be smart, but being smart only will not take you anywhere, right? That smartness has to be applied, right, in a hard way for you to be able to realize benefits or results, right? So the issue is, a lot of people think hard work is about manual work, right? But using your brain, you're seated, right? Spending long hours doing something, isn't that hard work? It is hard work. It is how people interpret that, right? So be smart, add hard work to it, then you will win, right? If I had more time, I would have given more explanation, but that is what it is. Hard world, and there's tremendous competition. Unless you are a hard worker, you're not going to go anywhere. And people, use nice phrases, nice words, nice philosophies, right? They don't walk on the ground. Right? Thank you. This gentleman has something.
Sir, listening to your lecture, we know, we like your brand name, Kishu Gomes, and we know your capacity.
Thank you.
So, is it beyond your capacity to get into politics?
I'll never ever get into politics. I don't want to, lose the fan base I have. I don't want to, reduce the number of people who love me, percentage of the population. With all good intentions, I accepted that public role to be the chairman of Sri Lanka Tourism. It wasn't a political appointment. What actually happened was I was roped in to head the tourism awards panel. I was the chairman of the panel. And at the awards ceremony, I made a speech at Shangri-La talking about how the industry can be developed, should be developed, what strategies we should adopt as a country, because I went through all the applications that came from all the hotels, to select the best 5-star hotel and 3-star, whatnot, 77 categories of awards. So the entire industry was in that hole. So they then, came up to me. I had stepped down from, just stepped down from Chevron. So can you just come and help? I said, no, kept on saying, no, for 3 months. And then, I kept on checking the numbers, $4.5 billion income, whereas our, economy then was about $83 billion. I thought, and tourism is all about selling feelings, it's selling the brand, and that's my, core as well. I thought, never mind, let me do something, because I had by then earned enough money as well. I could, work without any income, so all that is, accepted it. Yes, I mean, for unluck, East attack took place, but that gave me a good opportunity to perform, and actually we created a world record by recovering up to 100% just over 8 months, right? 347 tourists got injured, right? Nobody is today talking about 5-star hotels being attacked. Everyone is talking about churches and churches only, right? 42 people died, representing 19 countries in the world. Worst ever terrorist attack on tourism, right? So, I mean, I did the best I could, recovered, and then day before the election, I gave in my resignation. I didn't want to resign before that, because had I, done that, people would have thought, I couldn't take the challenge, right? But handing over the resignation before, just 1 day before the election is okay. So my story was, successive governments have a habit of, appointing their own people. So providing the opportunity to them, I'm stepping down. So when I was appointed, I got the government approval to, put a press release saying it's not a political appointment, right? But I'll tell you, what is right to be done. You can't do what is right within the public sector, right? You can't. If I had the authority, right, to do what was right for the country, within that year itself, I would have probably gone up to over $7 billion. I'm just saying, right? So in the political arena also, it's different, because you are elected by people, right? You are elected by people. As an individual, you can't perform at all in the parliament or as a politician, because you have your seniors, right? And unless you listen to your seniors, you know what happens to you, right? So there's absolutely no way you can perform in the public sector or in politics, right? But instead, I support every single government that is elected by the people voluntarily, right? I was actually appointed by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to build a nation's brand, right? I was made the chairman of that. But then that lasted for 3 months and he lost the election, and with that, I don't know what happened to it. Nobody contacted me thereafter. And this regime, government also contacted me, not the politicians, but somebody. So I said, I will help, but I will never ever again go sit or occupy a chairman seat in any public entity. No way, right? You have built a name, with pain, sweat, and hard work, all of that, right? One wrong signature, accidentally placed, can ruin your entire brand. I don't want to be. I had 2 narrow escapes while I was heading tourism, and to me, that's enough, right? So if a dictator is appointed, and I am invited to, work with that dictator, right, who does not seek re-election, and you have the mandate to do what is right for the country, if there is, that format of politics, probably, but that will never happen. So I will never ever get into politics. No, thank you. I love my brand. Thank you very much. I think that's it. So I don't get to speak beyond this. So thank you very much for the audience, and hope I managed to add something to your lives in terms of new principles, new theories, practical perspectives, all of that. Try using them and see if you can, take it to your families, extended families, to your children, especially, if you have kids, that don't worry about the target if you want results, right? If you want an A, don't worry about the A, but do what it takes to get an A, right? So you manage only that. So thank you, and thank you, Rajiva, for this wonderful opportunity. And those who are virtually connected, thank you very much to everyone, for following me. And I have done many lectures, at least 4 times at the law college before this, but this is the first time, coming to this building, which I appreciate very much. Wish every one of you a better tomorrow, but better tomorrow will not be gifted to you. Better tomorrow is something that you go to create for yourself and for the people of Sri Lanka. God bless you all. Samata Terwa Saranai.
Thank you. Please be on stage, Dr. Gomes. Knowing yourself is the first step and the best step towards gaining an advantage in this ultra-competitive world. We thank you so much for taking your time and granting us this opportunity by conducting this spotlight workshop. And I hope that everyone who was here present today were able to get the insights and the knowledge into the know-how, how to succeed. And as how Mr. Gomes clearly pointed out, in this ultra-competitive world that we live in today. We thank you once again for your time and the contributions you made. And to show our appreciation, I invite the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya, to present a small token of appreciation on behalf of the BSL New Opportunities Standing Committee. Thank you, sirs. And thank you, everyone. We appreciate all the attendees who are seated here today. And we wish to meet you once again with another lecture and another program, which will be aimed towards creating a path and which will lead into new opportunities, which will be coming up your way in the future. we thank you for your participation. Thanks, everyone. I also like to invite the chairman of the New Opportunity Standing Committee, Mrs. Andi Mathapattu, to give the vote of thanks this evening.
Good evening, everyone. It is both an honor and pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka. At the conclusion of what has been an insightful and thoughtful, provoking spotlight session. First and foremost, our heartfelt gratitude goes to Dr. Kishu Gomes, a respected and inspirational corporate leader, for gracing us with his presence today. Your insights into how legal acumen can become a strategic asset in the commercial world have been truly enlightening. You have not only expanded our understanding, but also inspired us to view the legal profession through a broader, more impactful lens. I wish to extend our sincere thanks to Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya, President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, for his guidance and support in making his event a reality. Your leadership continues to strengthen the association's role in advancing the professional development of our members. We are also grateful to Mr. Chatura Galhena, Secretary of the Bar Association, and Mr. Pasindu Silva, our Treasurer, for their unwavering commitment and contributions towards the organization of today's session. Your dedication behind the scenes have ensured its smooth execution. A special note of appreciation to the organizing committee, whose meticulous planning and hard work brought this event to life. Your efforts are deeply valued. And of course, our warm thanks go to all the participants who joined us today. Your engagement, enthusiasm, and truthful questions and made this session even more meaningful. Let us take the inspiration and knowledge gained here today and continue to build a legal community that not only understands and the law, but uses it as a powerful tool to shape a better, more dynamic commercial landscape. Thank you once again and have a pleasant evening. Thank you.